Chuck Rush with Computer Care. Today, it's like Christmas in this house because look what came in the mail. The Samsung S21 Ultra 5G. Man, we bucked up. We spent all the money we had, and we probably won't be able to eat for like a week. So this is the new Samsung flagship phone, and it's got frickin' lasers. Pew pew!
Fire the laser!
The Galaxy S21 Ultra. Now, there's a few models of this phone available, but this is the big daddy, packed with... This one has 512 gigabytes of storage and 16 gigs of RAM. And this thing, for what I spent for this thing, you better fly and do my laundry. You know what I'm talking about? Now, you usually buck up for the 512 gigabytes for the most storage you can get. But Sam, you know Sam over at Samsung, he played a pretty nasty trick on us this time. There's no micro SD card slot in this phone. I mean, right? What is this, a giant iPhone? Who does that crap? Who takes the SD slot out of a phone? Oh, never mind. So they've done that before. I'm not happy about this. I'm sure people will complain and it'll end up being back probably in the S22, but who knows? Sure, you can upload your crap to the cloud, but here's the thing. What if your account, or even worse yet, what if a cloud gets hacked? Goodbye all your priceless memories. You'll never see those again. So I personally like the security of physical storage on an SD card, but I don't know. Sure, I use the cloud too, but I'm probably going to lose a little sleep over this one. So if you buy the S21 Ultra from Samsung.com, you can save right now $700, up to $700 with an eligible trade-in. I'm trading in my S20 Ultra, and there's a whole bunch of different models there, some iPhones and some of the Samsung S20s. Not necessarily the Ultra, but you'll get that $700 back as long as you send your old phone to them. So obviously you need to pay it off or whatever. So my S20, to be honest, was getting a little weird, so it was time to buck up. Plus, I wasn't happy with the camera. There's a couple flaws with the camera that they have resolved in this model, so that's going to be great. Plus, Samsung himself, Sam, over at Samsung, gave me $200 to spend on junk for this thing. Got a case, got some chargers, because the charger does not come. You can see the box is a lot slimmer than usual. This is the phone itself, so they give you some stuff inside. Wow, that is a weird black, isn't it? I'll lift it up. Oh, man. It's like I'm staring into a black hole. All right, we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, they give you $200 to spend on some stuff like cases, some chargers, some batteries, and you could even buck up and buy a Samsung watch if you wanted to do that. That is a possibility for you, too. All these things, they give you $200 to spend for, man, that's pretty cool. So I bought a bunch of stuff. It's not here yet. It'll follow the phone, but also you can get a case with the S Pen if you wanted to try that out, too. I had a Note, and I never used the pen, but I figure they're going to give it to me for free with a case. I'm going to get it, man. You're giving it to me. Why not? So what's under the hood of this thing? I can't wait to turn it on, but I have to put my SIM card in here first. So 5 cameras with, the one has 108 megapixels. I mean, 108 megapixels. Think about that. Digest that for a moment. 108 megapixels camera sensor. That's just nuts. I mean, just an incredible amount of pixels capturing color and light. Really is what it does. Captures photons hitting the sensor in here. That's just nuts. I can't wait to see what this thing looks like. Look pretty good on this S20. It's supposed to be even better on this one. 2 telephoto cameras, one with a 3 times and 10 times optical zoom. We're talking optical zoom. This is the glass, not the digital zoom like some of the other phones. But and it has up to 100 times digital zoom, which is insane. And supposedly they fixed some of the pixelization that was going on with that one, so it's a lot better than the S20 that had the same 100 times. They call it space zoom or whatever. And in the front of this guy, a 40 megapixel selfie camera. 40 megapixels. You fashion vloggers and other narcissists are really going to look so tight. I mean, I can't even see the camera. That's the coolest thing. You don't even know you're doing it there. So, and it says this beautiful, and I can't wait to look at this 6.8-inch power-efficient, self-adjusting, 120 hertz quad HD. That's 4 times the resolution of HD OLED display with the in-screen fingerprint like the old phone had, like the S20 have, and that was really neat. Plus, it has 5G, all-day battery life with a whopping 5,000 milliamp hour battery. I hope it won't explode. And support for Wi-Fi 6, which is coming. It's going to be a little while before that catches on, but it's all in here. So I actually heard a rumor that the iPhones are going to use Samsung displays in their next iPhone, so that's pretty cool. So looking at the camera bump, it's actually a little smaller than the S20 was. I've got a case on here which covers it and protects it because you had to do that. And I'm hoping not to use a case, but it looks like we're probably gonna have to use a case because it's just gonna get all scratched to heck if I leave it out like that. I'm just funny lately. I'm sure a lot of people are too. And man, this Phantom Black, let's take a look at it. Ooh, yeah, look at that. It's like the deepest, darkest black. I mean, it's really hard to see on video here, but it's like this wicked dark black. Ooh, it's just kind of creepy. Ooh, I hate to look at it. But actually, it's not that bad. It's kind of cool. But it's a smear-proof, smudge-proof. You won't have fingerprints on the back. And I heard this was glass as well. Doesn't feel like glass, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's paint on glass. I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, still, you probably have a glass back on here, so you're going to need to put a case on it because I hate anything that's glass because it'll break because these phones drop. Anything that's portable that you can pick up is going to be dropped. I tried like heck not to drop my other one. I still dropped my other one a couple of times. Fortunately, I didn't break it, but the Gorilla Glass does a really good job at saving your phone from, you know, wicked damage, wicked expensive damage. So, yeah, you're going to need to put a case on it anyway, probably to hide that bump and to protect it as well, protect the lenses. All right, so more of that in a little bit. It's got, this is kind of cool. The battery on my S20 lasted, well, like a day and a half, and that was pretty good use. I mean, you know, typical use. We're talking like the morning social media poop, emails and text all day, funny gifs, some jokes, some Reddit, some few pictures and videos and everything else that people do on smartphones these days. Except phone calls. Let's be honest here. How many phone calls do you actually make on your phone anymore? I mean, do people really use the phones anymore? I mean, 99 out of 100 calls I get, at least 99% of the calls I get are telemarketers. I don't even answer my phone anymore. And I think last month I made a whopping 5 or 6 phone calls because I've trained my circle to learn that I don't answer the phone anymore because I never know who's going to. You got caller ID and everything too, but you can spoof numbers and there's all this weird stuff going on. So I don't even like talking on the phone anymore. So maybe you don't even need a phone. Maybe we just need like a digital device, maybe like a mini iPad or a mini Samsung tablet that doesn't even have a phone, but they still haven't made anything this small and this cool yet. Still, you're stuck and saddled with a phone and you need phone service, and that's how the phone companies rope you in. Anyway, so no more 45 watt charging. So I guess I got to throw my 45 watt charger away. They said 25 watt charging is plenty fast enough. So I guess I'll have to get rid of that and put that in the digital wasteland. And let's take a look at it. Okay, so it's fast. It zips around wonderfully. Opens and closes apps easily. You can open like dozens of apps with tiny little lag, not much at all, not even noticeable. The One UI 3.0 interface runs over Android 11 in the first glance. It looks a little more scaled back and more Android-y, if you will. Bixby's still here somewhere, but with Google's Assistant and Alexa and everything else dominating everything, you'll never use it, so you can ignore that. The most important thing to me, personally, is the camera. I mean, take candid shots of your kids, people doing strange things, news, breaking news, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We even shoot movies with our phones. You can actually do that now. I've actually done it with some prior phones. 2 prior phones than this. I've actually sold all my DSLR equipment. So I'm banking that this camera is going to be the best camera, hands down, best camera out of any camera I've ever used. And it could be. So let's take a look-see. Okay, so the camera software upgrades are the key here. So somehow some genius at Samsung figured out how to tie all the cameras together to give you some pretty amazing shots with excellent color and really, really good depth of field. Things you could only do with an SLR in the past. I actually pulled focus on this camera, and that seems to be the holy grail of digital cinematographers. So, haha, I'm coming to get you, artistas. You can pull focus on a cell phone now, and to me, that's just nuts that you have that capability now. Yeah, you can only do that with multiple lenses. The autofocus has improved with the use of laser-assisted phase detection autofocus, which is and it's a big name for they're shooting like little invisible lasers at something to gain the autofocus, and it tracks things. It's pretty darn accurate and useful, and especially when filming. All the S21 series now record video at 4K 60 frames per second from all cameras, even the front one. And you can even do 8K and 24 frames per second, I think, on the rear cameras. And there's this new thing called Director's View mode. It's kind of weird. I'll probably never use it. And what it is basically is for narcissists, because you can shoot with the front So they're shooting you while you're shooting back, and it splits the screen for you. It puts a little screen in the side there. So you can capture your beautiful face and reaction while you're watching someone else's life. Yeah, it's a little weird. I probably won't use it, but it could be a big deal. People will probably gravitate to this, and it might save some time in post if you're doing that kind of thing. The night mode seems to have really improved to shoot great shots after dark, after sunset, and also indoors, which is pretty important if you're a cinematographer. So that's pretty cool. So the goods. The positives, super killer camera, better focus with depth of field to rival SLRs, an incredible zoom, incredible battery life, and it's got the 5G and Wi-Fi 6 support. The bad, still a little pricey, over $1,000 for this thing. No SD slot. People say that the fact that it does not include a charger is a bad thing, but I'm not convinced of that because you've probably got 10 USB chargers laying around, and it's a USB-C, which is my last 3 or 4 phones. So I've got all these cables and they're still working great. So it might be a smart move. I don't think it really kept the cost down, but you know, if it avoids putting more stuff in the landfills, I'm all for that. So. All right, we're going to take some pictures and show you some of the stuff we found on the Samsung S21 Ultra. Chuck Fresh, take a look and leave your comments and your observations once you get one of these things. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks.